Today I've come to look at the murder of a bishop. Happened a long time ago, 570 odd years ago, in 1450. But this holds a great mystery around it, and I'm sure you'll find it interesting. And this is Edington Priory Church, where the mystery unfolds. And a lot of things were happening in the country, and there was great rebellion going on in the year of 1450. Inside of the magnificent church, and would have looked a lot different in 1450 than what it does today. The whole structure would have been totally different than we see it today. Willaim Ayescough, who was the Bishop of Salisbury, came here on the 29th of June 1450 to hold a mass, and we're going to try and follow his path and what happened and the mystery around it all. The tomb of the unknown monk, which forms part of the mystery that I'll be going into later. So this is the altar of today, and it would have looked a lot different in 1450, but it would have been in a similar area to the altar we have here. And the reason that we know this is because of the old stonework over to this side here that you can see underneath the statue there. So while William was conducting the Mass in the position roughly that I'm at now by the altar, suddenly a mob came in, a raring mob, raging and making loads of noise, I expect, and dragged him from the church. So led out from the church, he would have been very traumatised, to say the least. And we don't know exactly which door he went out of, but would have taken a similar route to what I'm walking at the moment. And down and dragged out up onto a hill just outside of the church. What a traumatic experience that must have been. And the mob was alleged to be around 450 people. And on the 29th of June 1450, and there's no real indication of which doorway he came through, but this is the closest one to the hill, so he would have been dragged, kicking and screaming, traumatic, or perhaps just resigned to his fate, through this doorway that we've just come through. And on up this path here, and then we're going to head directly across the road and up to the hill where the event happened. Well, I'm now at the bottom of the hill, which is just across the road from Edington Priory. And on the 29th of June, as we said before, 1450, around 2 in the afternoon, they dragged this poor bishop out of the church because people didn't like what he was doing, a bit like, I suppose, politicians and people today, I don't know. And they dragged him out and took him up to the hill that we're going to go up to now, right to the top of the hill. Dragged up, one would assume, under protest, and it wouldn't have had these steps here. These are obviously bits of wood here. It would have had something else, probably just a worn path or a path to one side of the hill that we're not seeing from here today, and taken on to the top of this hill. Just coming up to the top of the hill here, and this is the area at the top of the hill that we can see here. In this area, the bishop was slain, all his finery and horses taken, and he was chopped into pieces. And while I'm up here, I couldn't resist a very small adventure in history, but I just can't resist this. Looking around this area, we see this very old stone here. I wonder if that had anything to do with marking the spot, or whether it was a stone cross base or something like that. These flowers here, so people do leave a remembrance here for the bishop, and there's a service held on the 29th of June every year where the local school children follow the route to of the bishop. So it could be anywhere around this hill that he was actually slain, but it's in or around this spot. Just on the top of the hill here, this throws up another mystery, and that mystery is, where was he buried? Some people believe that he was buried up here on the hill, but there's no evidence of that. And there is something else that may explain where he's buried, or entombed, I should say. Come with me. We then go past the southern face of the church and head to the east for the tomb on the wall. One of those things that never ceases to amaze me. I always bring my walking friends and everything to this, because it is truly an incredible thing. And just looking up, you can see there it is, the tomb on the wall. Now, why was that put there, and who is in there? It's not a very big tomb, so you wouldn't think it was anybody very big, but what a magnificent thing that is. And why is it on the wall? I know I've been here several times before, but it just always amazes me. Why is that there? And hopefully, I'll be able to tell you my thoughts on it. Well, what are my thoughts on this? Was it the tomb of a wayward monk? No, I don't think so. We've already got that in the church that we looked at earlier. Was it the tomb of somebody that tempted to take their own life? No, because they were normally buried at crossroads and things. Was it the tomb of somebody that didn't recognise the church? No, I don't think so. So who could it be in there? It could be the remains of Bishop Willaim Ayescough. It might be totally empty. You never know. It's never been opened. Because he was hated by so many at the time and still loved by the church and other people, putting him on the wall was a good solution. So putting his remains in there, or if he was chopped up into pieces, there wouldn't have been much in there, but they could have put it on the wall, and that would have pleased everybody, really, because he wasn't in the churchyard and he wasn't not in the church. So all in all, I think that is my guess on it. If you know any different, please let me know, because nobody seems to know. There's nothing in the church records or anything else. But an incredible story that ends in an incredible place with an incredible thing. So with the tomb behind me, thank you very much for watching this very ancient murder mystery. And until the next time, wait for it. Goodbye.